Yeah, but now let's try to dissect and okay, let's try to dissect and let us try to really see if dancing is really an art or not. Okay, and why it should be included in as an integrated part of our educational curriculum. Okay, so when you were in elementary and junior high school and senior high school, you are really required to take up physical education classes, especially even in college, right? So you have dance classes. That's why in elementary you have MAPE, right? And in physical education, that is being discussed. And then also in your junior high school, you also have MAPE then. And in elementary and senior high school, you have PE and health classes. And PE3 focuses on dances. And when you go to college, second, PE2 is all about fundamentals of rhythmic activities, which is also about dances, right? So let's start. So, again, I am Sir J.M. Pastor. You can call me Sir J.M. Pastor na lang. Okay pa? So, yan. I am a teacher. Okay? I just want to know to be known as a teacher. Okay? I'm just a teacher. Okay? So, yan. So the outline of the topics for today's session is first we will discuss the introduction to rhythmic activities in the Philippine dances because it's very important, my dear students, that when you understand dance, you are oriented about the different dances here in the Philippines. Okay? Hindi pwedeng magaling ka lang sumayo pero uhaw ka sa sarili mong kultura at sa sariling sayo ng iyong bansa. Okay? That is a pure hypocrisy. If you love dance and you're performing a lot of dances, you preferred to because art and identity are always anchored to each other. Ang iba dyan sa inyo keeps on performing K-pop. That's why you know Jisoo, Jennie, and Rose, and etc. Diba? So you keep on dancing. Maybe some of you are dancing K-pop. There is nothing wrong with that. As long as you will be able to, first to really appreciate your identity or the dances inside our country. Okay? So yeah, that's why we have to discuss Philippine dances. And then also the fundamental arms and feet position. So I'll try to give you an idea about that because those are the foundations of dancing. And then also creating a dance. How should we create a dance? And I think this is one of your asynchronous requirements, one of your asynchronous requirements for this course, which is art appreciation. It's very important when you understand dance, mahalagang you will be able to apply, okay, the ideas, okay, in dancing, and you must really execute those things, okay? And then also dance production, how to produce a certain dance performance. And I hope that I can cover these topics in just 1 hour and 30 minutes as your scheduled time. Okay, so let's start. Uh-huh. So let's start. So and so dance. So when before we formally start, let's go back to the main route itself. So the course that you are enrolled to is all about art appreciation. Tama. So it's all about, my dear students, art appreciation. So you are really expected to really appreciate art and the different art forms. Am I correct? So when you hear the word art, based on what your teacher have taught you, or yeah, sa naturo ng teacher niyo, ano ba talaga ang sining? It's very important because art is part of our lives. Okay? It is crucial in a way that we must really into that, okay, because of its benefits and because of our nature as a person. Mahalagang mahalaga na as a tao, kaya di ba we have this idea that we call humanities, and being human is all about being oriented about art. So in the comment chat ba, in our group, Google Meet chat box, can you please tell me another word or just one word that will really describe what art is? Saan nyo ba siya na kikita? At ano ba talaga siya para sa inyo? It can be in any language. Okay? So I'll wait for your responses. Just maximize our anong tawag dito? Chat box. Ang hindi dyan magsagot, magre-retake ng subject. Okay? Charot. Okay? Expression. Okay? According to Michelle, it's an expression. How about the others? Ay, ambag. Arambag man ka mo dyan. Emotion. Okay? Expression. Application. Okay, I love the word application. Form of communication. Great. Creativity. Portrayal. Emotions. Okay, I love your ideas. Okay. Composition. Great. So at least you already have a background or a certain schema, okay, about arts. And then also, may I ask your particular course? Can you please type also your course so that I will know, so that I can contextualize the role of art in your particular field? What are your course? Be accountancy, okay? Wala pa ata ako naging estudyante dito. Okay, FMA. Ah, kanya-kanya kaya. So, okay. So, it's hetero. Okay, okay, I see. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much. So those answers that you have mentioned are all valid because when we talk about arts, it's vast. Okay, vast talaga siya. In a way na napakalaki niya. But in the point of view of an educator, this is my personal point of view and personal reflection. When we say art, I always associate art in two things. Okay? The first one is creating. When we talk about arts or singing, it talks about creating or paglikha, paggawa. Okay? Another thing is I also associate art as a way to save ourselves, or in Filipino I call always art as pagsagip sa sarili. Okay? It's very important because to be human is to always oriented about art for a certain person to survive. Okay? Especially in the role of art amidst pandemic. Ano ba ang sini ngayong pandemic? Imagine yourself without being oriented about art, so you are not able to express your emotion, your feelings, and what you are experiencing, and you don't have any outlet, right? So it will really push you or trigger you to do a certain bad thing. But if there is an art, will really makes you express your emotions, will really divert your attention, di ba? Mas may isip mong, mas ma-appreciate mo ang life. So that is art. It's also a way of, what do you call this, saving ourselves. So let's proceed. So the first one that I have mentioned, I always associate art as paglikha, or it's all about creating. So if you're oriented about the Bloom's taxonomy, so it was revised by Anderson and Cratwell. Okay? So um I know that some of you are familiar with this particular theory and then framework. So the highest form of learning, according to Bloom and to Cratwell and Anderson, is all about creating. When you are already able to create a certain thing, it means that you are already on your highest form of learning. Okay? So kapag marunong kang gumawa ng isang bagay, that is already the highest form of learning. Maliwanag? So yan. That's why as an artist, you are the master of your own. And then also, if you are able to create a certain masterpiece, it always represents you and your capacity. Okay? Kapag marunong ka gumawa, yan na ang pinakasagad na anyo ng pagkatuto. Okay? So let's proceed. Another is pagsagip sa sarili. Okay? Can you imagine a world without color, a world without any expression, a world without any emotion? Because when we talk about art, it is very personal. Okay? Our emotion are being affected by our experiences. Okay? And those experiences should be processed. And one of the ways that we can process our emotion and experiences is to create a certain thing or to be oriented about art. Okay? Dapat mas maganda kung oriented tayo sa sining so that we will be able to express everything that we want to express so that hindi siya magtipon-tipon at ano pang mangyari sa atin. Okay? It's very important. So yan. So let's proceed. Saan na ako? Okay, so etymology lang tayo. The term art is related to the Latin word ars, meaning art or skill or craft. Okay? But I really don't like this idea. I really don't like the etymology because it's so limited. Because it just talk about skill and craft. Kakayahan at yung nagawa. But what I want you, my dear students, to learn about understanding art, it's personal value. Yung galing talaga sa puso mo. Okay? That is the highest understanding of art. So, yeah, and another that is from Latin, we have also art in a Greek way or in Greek etymology. So, or it talks about also about craftsmanship. The English words technical and technology are cognates of the Greek word techni. Okay? So, yeah. Features of art, I know that it's already been discussed to you. So, man creates art. So, art exists in man. So, it is our nature to be oriented about art, as I keep on mentioning a moment ago. Okay? Art imitates. Art will always imitate. The first one being imitated by art is your emotion. Okay, that's why the artworks that you have created are product or a representation of you. Okay, and then art interprets. That's why there is an objectivity and subjectivity in art. Art expresses and communicates, and then art affects delight and evokes a reaction. So if you're going to take a look on the painting presented in the PowerPoint presentation, you will see there the painting scream. It is one of the um, output of ang tawag niyo dito, expressionist movement. Okay? So yeah. So, understanding of art, according to Marcos, although 2006 siya, that was 14 years ago, I still use this. So, various meaning of art. Art is an ability, okay? Human capacity to create things of beauty and things that steer us. It's an ability. It's always a skill. Okay, kaya mali yun, my dear students, na I have a lot of student na. Okay, I told them to create a certain dance performance. So, okay, sayaw kayo. Sir, doon ako sir mga baili, sir. Matugtog na lang ko, sir. Sabi ko, no. You really have to perform that thing. Okay, because everyone can dance. Sir, tuog ako, sir. As in my point of view, there is no such thing as tuog na tao. Di ba? In Bicol, we call this as tuog, hindi marunong sumayaw or parehas kaliwa ang paa. Kung tuog ka, di dapat di ka naghihiro dyan, tigba ka na. Right? So, yan. Oh, wala. Hahanapin nyo lang talaga ang dance dyan kung saan kayo magaling. So, another is process. So, art encompasses acts such as drawing, painting, sculpture, designing buildings, and using camera to create. So, it's a process. May proseso ang sining. Okay? Product, completed work, or final product. So, yan. So let me just give you a tour about art forms before we formally enter to dance. So when we say art forms, these are the different ways, but it's not limited only to the things that I'm going to present to you. Ang art ay vast, ang art is absolute. Okay? Art is everything. I can say that. But maybe some of you, sir, kung art is everything, pornography is an art. Do you agree? My dear students, because that is one of the ideas that should be discussed in your course. Do you think pornography is an art? Yes or no? Can you please type your comments on the comment section? If you agree or do you agree that pornography is an art? Yes or no? Ambag, hindi siya mag-ambag. Pornography daw art, charot. Okay, so since art is absolute good things, di ba? Yes. Sure ba? Pornography ay art? Uh-huh. Okay. So majority answered yes. But so another thing that you have to see in art is the objectivity and subjectivity. So when we talk about subjectivity and objectivity, sa subjectivity tayo mag-focus. Okay? So it's all about how you consider a certain thing, if that is an art or not. But in my point of view, I do not consider the pornography as an art. It's not an art for two reasons. The first reason is walang agenda or agendum ang art o sining ng kalaswaan at pagbaba ng moralidad. Hindi iyon layunin ng sining. Okay, pornography is a social issue. Okay? It's a social issue and an ethical issue. Okay? So, unethical ang pornography. The second, sir, di ba sir, sabi mo, art is everything? No, not all. Because unang-una, ang sining ay wala siyang gustong magbastos, magbalahura ng isang tao. The second one is this. Maybe you are just confused between pornography and nudity. Okay, baka yung mga nakahubad na pinipainting, akala nyo pornography yun. They are not pornography. Pornography are those unethical things or materials that you are going to see in a magazine or in a certain website. Such as, alam niyo na yung mga website na yun. Okay, I will not anymore going to mention that. That is pure pornography. Pero ang pornography is not an art. You just have to see or critically think about the thick yan. Napakalaki talaga, napakakapal ng wall between nudity and pornography. Iba ang nudity. Nudity is an art, but pornography will never be an art. So don't be confused. Okay? Just use your creative and critical imagination. Okay? In understanding if that is an art or not. Okay? So yan. So for the next, let me give you a certain tour about the art forms as I have mentioned. So we have here the creative writing, visual arts, pagpinta, creative writing, pagsulat. We have the media arts, o kahit anong medium ang ginagamit ng media arts, theater arts, or also known as performing arts, dance, the one that we are going to discuss today, and then instrumental music, and then vocal music. So now let's proceed, my dear students, to dance. Okay, technically, dance is a verb. Okay, that's why the past tense is danced or dancing is the present term or the gerund's term for that. So it is pronounced as dance or dance. So it means, according to dictionary, to move one's body rhythmically, usually to music. Okay, ang pagsayaw ay paggalaw ng katawan kasabay ang musika. To engage or in or perform a certain dance. Okay, to create a certain dance. So but my dear students, when we talk about dance, I really want you to really understand it in this way. Dance is a movement of the body, okay? Stationary or not stationary, in a rhythmic way. So when we talk about dancing, it's a rhythmic activities because when later we will discuss what are rhythmic activities, okay? Usually to music and within a given space. Space is very important in dancing. Okay? So, purpose of expressing an idea or emotion. Another part is what makes dance as an art is the ability of a certain dancer to communicate with the audience based on his or her emotion. Okay? Yung mga nararamdaman niya, isa-translate niya yun through his or, isa-translate niya yun using his or her hypothalamus, okay? Kasi mali naman yun. From, very metaphor yung from the bottom of, I love you from the bottom of my heart, yung sa puso talaga. Because the function of heart is just to pump blood. Okay, pag si jowa nito sinabihan ka mo na, ano yan, I love you from the bottom of my heart. So, ayan mo na yan. Taang function kang heart, bako mag-love para mag-pump ng blood o palpal yan. Okay? So, let's proceed to the next one. Another is the releasing energy or simply talking the light in the movement itself. So yan ang dance. Okay, later we will still elaborate that. But another important element or idea that we have to understand about dance is about choreography. Dance will never exist without choreography. Okay? But later, malilito pa kayo when we understand folk dances, if we really choreograph folk dance or not. Okay? Discuss ko naman ang choreography. When we say choreography, it was termed during the 1789 from the French choreography or choreography, coined from Latinized form of the Greek chorea. O yan, chorea, bako yan bansa. It's a Greek word for dance. Okay, bako ito yung K-pop, ice cream, chillin, 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 ice cream, chillin, chillin, indo dyan. Okay, chorea is a Greek term for dance, and graphene is another Greek term which means to write. Okay, to write. So technically speaking, when we say choreography, it's an art of writing a certain dance using your own creative imagination. Okay? Yung nasa utak mo yung set of movements, pattern of movements, and flow of movements are being transcribed into real movements. So, choreography is very personal. Yung naisip mong idea, okay, yung naisip mong idea will be translated into movements. Kaya baga, pag may ano dyan, when you have your sabayang pagbigka speech choir, magsasabi kayo, oh, sino magko-choreograph ng dance ng performance natin? So it means that you are giving your full what you call this consent for your choreographer to create a certain parang binibigyan ng tiwala yung nasa utak niyang mangyayari. Okay? It's you're giving him or her a trust that or a consent that kung ano yung nasa utak niya, yun ang magiging performance niya. So that is choreography. It is very personal and it came from your own creative imagination. Okay po? So yan. Another. Mhm. So choreography means to dance, to write a certain dance. Okay, so the art of creating, arranging dances. So choreography, aside from dance, is also an art. Sining din ito because you are able to express your emotion. Okay, and then your feelings. Actually, sa kakasama ko sa teacher niyo, kay Ma'am Valen. Okay, we still have a lot of friends. Majority of my friends are artists in different fields. Ma'am Valen is very good in music. Okay? Aside from teaching arts and then
Iya ako sa plug.
di
Sponsor.
ka man, di ka masampal, don't worry. Okay, so Ma'am Valen she is my classmate in art school. She majored in music. So aside from politics and governance and political science and in teaching art, oriented talaga sa music. And my focus din sa art school namin is dance. We still have a lot of friends. Si Doms, Sir Doms, ano siya sa film and sa theater arts. Si Crystal Mampo, theater arts din. Marami. But what I really want in our circle of friends is we are not fond of happy endings. Yes, we are not fond of happy endings. Gusto namin sa kada ending ng ginagawa namin mga bagay-bagay, may namamatay. But sabi ko baga sa inyo, art mirrors the feelings of the people, the experiences, di ba? O, day man miserable ang buhay me, don't worry. Day man miserable. It's just all about creating a certain thrill or playing with the art form that we are into. Okay? I didn't, especially sa akin, I did not choreograph modern dances. I hate modern dances because I am more of cultural dances. Okay, you have to respect mine. But I am also fond of modern dances, pero I do not choreograph those things. Pero ang gusto ko kasi talaga, sining at kultura. Okay? So, sa akin, lumalabas yung attitude ko na I am fond of teaching Muslim dances. Because in Muslim dances, happy or smiling is not allowed. Okay? Sa Muslim dance kasi napakaseryoso ng mga mukha nila. Okay po? So, yan. So, so that is choreography ha? Okay, so, as I have mentioned, the word derives from the Greek for dance and for rite. So, in the 17th century, wag na to. So, now let's proceed first with the introduction to rhythmic activities and the Philippine dances. Dito tayo. So, I hope that you already have an idea about dance and then choreography. Okay, because we only have limited time. My dear students, do not be afraid to dance or to perform a certain dance performance. Okay? The reason behind that is, wala pong pinagkaiba ang paggalaw sa pagsayaw. Kung naghahangos-hangos ka, naglalakaw ka, kung ano-ano pagpaparagibo mo sa buhay mo na physical activity, maayang pagkakaiba sa dance. Because dancing is to move. And when you do a certain task or activities, it means that you are moving. So everyone can dance because basically, dance requires two things. The first one is the capacity to move or not. Yes, to move or not. Daw na, may tugtog ka dyan tapos nakaarog ka lang kani. Santo Rosario ka, ano pa, pagparagibo mo dyan. Okay? Tapos, tapos nahiling siya ito mga rational na mga rational na artist. Oh, that is an art. Baka man gini nakaarog ka lang tapos may tugtog. So that is dance. Okay? So the second one is you as long as you are using your emotion in while doing something, that is an art. Okay? So, dancing and moving has no difference. Ang pagsayaw ay paggalaw at ang paggalaw ay pagsayaw. So, do not be afraid to dance as long as you have your emotion, your hypothalamus. Okay? So, yan. So, metaphorical, I'm not really fond of hindi talaga ako, my dear students, since I'm teaching PE and anatomy subjects, I am not really fond of dance from your heart. Okay? Metaphorically, yes. Pero, ang function nga ni kang heart nga ni, pagpamplang ng blood. So, ganito na lang. You just have to dance or perform according to your consciousness. Okay? So, yan. So, now let's proceed to introduction to rhythmic activities and the Philippine dances. So this particular topic is very essential because it will really give you an idea of what dance is. So when we say rhythmic activities, okay, dancing is an example of a rhythmic activity. It refers to a series of movements as physical manifestations of the emotional and mental response of an individual to any beat called as rhythm. Rhythmic activities are the activities that we are doing as a response to a certain music. Yung mga ginagawa natin mga bagay-bagay na as a response to a certain music. Okay, I'll give you an example. For example, dance. Pag may tugtog dyan, tama? Pag may tugtog dyan na kung ano-ano man yung natugtog na yan, wait lang ha. Pag may tugtog dyan, ikaw man, igot-igot ka na naman magbayli. Right? Okay. Who among here are fond of doing TikTok? Can you please type me? And, or I want to hear your voice. Di ko naman kayo makakilala. Wala man ako naging estudyante ata dito sa college. Wala. Okay, pakitag na lang. Okay, we have John Vincent Palencia. Okay, ang dami pang TikTokers dito, charot. Okay, some people will say, yaks, nagti-TikTok. Oh, ano man kaya, napalpal ka, ano ba ka nagti-TikTok? Anong purpose kung application kung da igamiton? TikTok will give a certain avenue for those people who really feel to dance and release or produce a certain dance performance. There is nothing wrong with doing TikTok. What really affects us is the social stigma or the stigma set by the ano apod mo doon, by the society. No, there are some people na noong lockdown na nagsabi na, okay, bored ako pero hindi ako magti-TikTok. Okay? Hindi daw siya magti-TikTok. O ano man ka iyan. Okay? Ano man pakaalam mo kung nagti-TikTok ang isang tao, hindi. Kanya-kanya tayong trip. Okay? So yan, dahil ka man nagti-TikTok, tapos para agaw kang jowa, o masabihan ka to nagti-TikTok, okay lang mag-TikTok basta di mang agaw jowa. Avoid hypocrisy. Okay? Avoid hypocrisy. So yan. There's nothing wrong with doing TikToks. Okay? Pero yan, before, yan, mayo man talagang maraot. Ako nagti-TikTok man minsan. Okay? Pero di ako nang-agaw jowa. Charot. Okay, so that is, we don't really have to label a certain person na kapay, bilang TikTok, ako palang palpal, kapay, pa yan. So, because what I can see in our society now is anti-bandwagon is the new bandwagon. Itong, ang isang tao magsabi, yak, nagti-TikTok iyo. Siya palan kaya, mayo siyang self-confidence kada siya maka-TikTok. Okay? Dahil dyan, sir, mga TikTok na si Abad. Okay, later. Okay, your project in our session is to create 100 TikTok videos. Charot. But as a teacher who do online learning for physical education, I don't require my students to do TikTok. Di ko man sila, ang pigmapagibo sa YouTube channel, YouTube account. Sa For You page ba kan TikTok, ay Diyos ko kaduday, required talaga nakataples, required na tarala-tala, gabos na. No, baka man arog ka iyan. Okay, so tarala-tala na kayo, ang pursa nag-arog-arog, ay Diyos ko kaduday, patawari kita, ay Santisima, perdon. Okay, so yan. So, I don't allow my students to use TikTok as the compilation of their outputs. Pero kung nagti-TikTok mo sila, I will not judge them nga as I have mentioned. Okay po? So, yan. So, rhythmic activities are those activities that we do as a response to a certain music. So, it is holistic in nature. We have the emotional response. So, yung nararamdaman mo using your consciousness. Halimbawa, ano po duman, you are performing a certain dance. Tapos, ay nakarinig ka ng tugtog, sabihin ta na ang narinig mong tugtog is, anong tinutawag mo? I don't know about the songs na makaiyak. Nakakaiyak na tugtog, so ikaw manasad ka. So that is an emotional response. Okay? And then also the mental response. Okay, for example, nadahog mo na si mama mo, nagkukuraw na, hoy! Ara mo nagkikibon, mahugas ka na. Okay, another pa is anything that will really push you to do a certain thing. A very good example of that is we unconsciously respond to a certain thing. Halimbawa, bigla nagkidlat, wala man tunog, pero bigla nagputi yung kalangitan. Anong una yung gagawin? Maarog ka mo kani. That is your initial response, right? Okay. So let's proceed. So those are rhythmic activities, the activities that we do as a response to a certain music. So these are the activities in rhythmic activities also talks about activities in which an individual, every one of us, okay, as we respond to sound. Okay, halimbawa, si alarm clock mo, o di ba? Nagtatanog na magmata ka na. Okay, nasaan nagda-drive ka. Tapos may nadaw ka ng wiw, daw ka pa naghiling sa side mirror mo. Maggilid ka na. Okay? So, yan. Another is physically, ayan nga, pag nagkikilat, response ka na. Di ba? Just like dancing, when you hear a certain thing, okay, magre-respond ka. Halimbawa, naglalako-lakaw ka sa Ateneo Ave. Halimbawa, naglalakad-lakad ka sa may Ateneo Ave. Tapos may nadaw ka ng pipip, gumilid ka na. Okay? So, yan. Another is socially. So, socially, because there are some, di ba, for some of you who are fond of going to RM22, di ba, nagduduman-duman ka. Tapos, pag nadahog mo na ang tugtog na pang-party na ikaman, labo-labo ka naman arog ka ini. Right? So, yan. That's the role of dancing and movements and music into our life. Never natin siyang maiiwasan. Maybe may magsasabi dyan sa inyo, ano man yung sister, para dire-discuss pa dyan yung nagdire-discuss pa dyan ng dance, dahil man yan magagamit, hindi naman namin yan magagamit sa sa profession namin kasi BSA kami, FMA, Civil Engineering, Communication, BSE, kung ano pa mga course din doon, and I don't care. Pero I'll make sure na dancing will always be part of your life. Ang very good example ka iyan? Every Christmas party, ma-intermission number ka mo. Tama, iyo ma-intermission number baga ka mo. That's why you really have to be oriented about dancing. Okay, daw na matibahin ka ng engineer pag tig-request ka kang mga fellow mo na, "Sir, magbahili ka naman daw. Sir, mag-intermission man daw ka mo." Oh, you have no choice, right? So dancing will always be part of your life. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next one. Okay, where is my slide? Sino na kumuha? Charot, ito pala. Okay. So, now let's discuss about, before pa pala yan. So, this is the question. This is the question. So, a moment ago, we said that dancing is a rhythmic activities. And when we say rhythmic activities, are those activities that we do with the accompaniment of music or with the use of music. So, this is the question. Kamay sa keyboard. What if I dance, sumayaw ako na walang tugtog? Is that a rhythmic activity? Yes or no? What if I dance without music? Is that a rhythmic activities? Yes or no? Sabi natin na dance is rhythmic activities and rhythmic activities need music. Ang hindi dyan nagre-reply na arambag man, pagka mo day nire-reply kang jowa nindo, aranggot ka mo. Ngunya nag-aapot ako, hindi ka mo nagre-reply. Okay? Ang hindi dyan mag-reply talaga, hindi na makaka-type kahit kailan. Okay? So yan. Para mag-spell ng yes, hindi college ako, hindi ko mag-spell ng yes or no. Okay, so yan. Ang hindi dyan talaga mag-reply ha, ikakabagsak nindo apat na subject. Charot. Charot lang. Okay, so yan. Okay, so majority of yes of you said yes. So that is correct. Even though I dance without music, that is still considered as rhythmic activity. The reason is music is not only composed of beats or notes which create a certain beat or a certain sound. Musical elements is not only limited to notes, but we also have rest. So silence itself is music. That's why the word rhythmic activities came from the word rhythm. Or in Filipino, we call that as ritmo. Tinig o pulso ng isang awitin. Right? So since it was tinig o pulso ng isang awitin, so it means na it talks about beats and silence. So silence itself has a certain rhythmic patterns, but or syllaba. So instead of having notes, my dear students, ang nandun lang are rests. Okay? So dancing without music or without a certain sound is still a rhythmic activities because silence itself is music. Okay? Guro man lang yan, halimbawa si jowa mo. Si jowa mo din na nagigirom. May ginibo kang kapasawayan. Alam mo nang ibig sabihin yan. Okay, si mama mo, din na nagigirom, alam niyo nang ibig sabihin yan. Okay? So yan. So it has a certain meaning then. Okay? So now let's proceed to folk dance. It is very important for you, my dear students, to really first appreciate the dances here in the Philippines before we go out. Okay? Baho tong tuom-tuom mo ang gabos na kanta kang Blackpink, pun sa Kick It, sa See You Later, sa Comeback, sa Jen Lisa, sa Forever Young, sa Kiss and Makeup, sa Don't Know What to Do, sa Stay, sa Bombaya, sa Whistle, sa Playing with the Fire, tapos As If It's Your Last, sa Dududu, tapos Kill This Love, Ice Cream, tapos How You Like That. Tama. So, memorize mo to gabos na nila, sound si buong album. Tapos, Philippine folk dances, you are not oriented about that. Tama? So, yan. So, my dear students, it's very important for you to really understand our culture. Okay? So, to really understand your culture. Okay? So, let's start. When we say folk dance, okay, nagpaparachat yung jowa ko. Wait lang ha. Di ba? Kamu kayo magjowa man ka mo habang nagtutok ka mo. Okay. Okay. So, yan. Okay. So, yan. So, my dear students, it's very important for you to first really understand folk dance. When we say folk dance, listen, ang teacher nindo sa senior high, kang elementary tapos kang high school, ina ang sabi sa indo. Irit na naman ang pamayo ko sa mga teacher na ini. Sa PE. Ang folk dance daw, sayaw ng ating mga ninuno. Right? Oy, wala man akong bias. Kamo daw talaga. Maghanap kasi, kayo kasi, college na kamo, pwede na kamo magjowa-jowa. Pero ang hanap po nindo, si may work na. O di man ako nagsay maghanap ng sugar daddy dyan. Okay? So, ano tawag yun dito? Find some inspiration. Okay? Di ba, Ma'am Valen? Find some inspiration. Okay, so now let's proceed. Okay, so for the
Kakaloka ka.
Okay, so
Go.
correct.
Lord.
So when we say folk dances, it's very important. Sabi ka mga teacher nindo. Oh, ang folk dance, yeah, yan yung mga sayo ng ating mga ninuno. Okay? Sayo yan ng ating mga sinaunang tao. I really hate hearing those terms. Because folk dances are not dances of the old people. So yun ang ating mga the folk dances are the dances of the people itself. Because the word folk means people. That's why folk song means songs of the people. Folk dance means dances of the people. So as long as there are people, as long as there is humanity, folk dance will exist. That's why it's wrong to say that folk dances are the dances of the primitive people. Ay, Diyos ko, panagbayli ka pala ng dance ng karinyosa or kaya ng tinikling or singkil. The primitive people, ang mukha mo dapat homo erectus man. Day man baga. Because, yeah, yan. So, when we talk about dances or folk dances, these are the dances before, dances that we have now, and the dances that we will have in the future. Because it talks about people. As long as there are people, folk dance will exist. Okay? So, garo yan si estudyante ko. I have a student in senior high school na nagdidiscuss ako ng history ng folk dance. Sabi daw sa akin, Sir, um, do you agree, sir, na anong tawag mo dito? STEM student siya. Sir, do you agree, sir, na that we came from, tama po yung nilasan daw kasi nila yung theory of evolution by Charles Darwin that we came from anong tawag niyo doon, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, and etc. Sabi ko, no, I don't believe in that because DNA, hindi alam ni Charles Darwin ang meaning ng DNA. Tanong pa nagpa-DNA test ka tapos si unggoy na ataman mo, pares ka mo, mag-ama ka mo, dahil man baga. So I really don't believe in the theory of evolution. The theory of evolution will just give us an idea about the survival of the fittest. Okay? Yan lang. Pero to say that we came from monkeys, sabi niyo da kaya, Sir, we came from monkeys, sir, we came from apes. Sabi ko, no, we are created by God. Di ba? We are created by God. Sabi niya, no, sir. We came from monkeys talaga, sir. I really believe in that. Sabi ko, no, we came from God. Tapos sabi niya talaga, no, sir. We came from from monkeys. Tapos sabi ko man, o bahala ka. Kung ang pamilya mo hali sa unggoy, kamo to. Dahil mo pag idamay ang pamilya mi. Tama. So yan, kung hali ka mo sa unggoy, ka mo lang. Di ka man damay. So yan. So let's proceed. Commercial lang to. Okay, so let's proceed to the next slide. So another is dance is an art, okay, that aims to move body and feet to music. Okay, again, dance is an art. That's why it's wrong to say that dance is not an art. Okay, syempre, biologically speaking, scientifically speaking, we can say that dance is an art based on science because our anatomical and physiological aspects of our body are needed to create a certain dance performance. Okay? So yan. So let's proceed. So another is dancing is the outburst of people's feeling. Yan yung my dear students na kapag bad trip ka, kapag sad ka, sayaw ka lang, galaw ka lang, express what you are feeling. Just express your emotions, everything that you feel. That's an art. Okay, that is dancing. Okay po? So sabi ko nga, walang pinagkaiba ang paggalaw at pagsayaw. Kung naghuhugas ka, okay, pa naghuhugas ka, baga ang movement mo arog ka ni. Pero ginigiba mo siya sa harong nindo. Okay? Or kaya yan. Pag nasa stage ka, di maghugas-hugas ka man, kirekembot ka. O human lang baga. Ang pagkakaiba lang is the venue where you are doing it. The space where you are doing that. Okay, action. Okay? Another is folk dance are traditional dances of a given country. Yes, these are traditional dances of a given country. Okay, which are evolved naturally and spontaneously in connection with the everyday activities of the people. The word people is being repeated because that is the bottom line of folk dances. Folk dances evolved. That's correct. Okay? It is evolving spontaneously and naturally with regard to our way of life. Halimbawa, the folk dance, salat, ano mga alam yung folk dance? O pandango sa ilaw, o walang kamatayang pandango sa ilaw. O yung pandango sa ilaw niya, it came from Pangasinan. Okay, or kaya pandango wasiwas. O yung pandango wasiwas from Pangasinan din yon. Tapos yung pandango na yon, my dear students, doon, yung pandang wasiwas, hindi yung sa ilaw, ang sa ilaw yung baso, ang wasiwas yung naka-cover siya sa lambat or sa panyo. Noon, nanghingisda yung mga tao. Tapos, ano tawag nyo, gumagamit sila ng candle na naka-cover sa lambat para yung mga fish lumapit sa kanila. Okay? So, hanggang sa naging sayaw siya. So, folk dances mirrors the way of life of the people. That's why, that is my plan to with a partnership with your teacher in arts. I am really amazed. Okay? Napakagandang tingnan ng folk dances. Okay? Pag nakakita ako ng folk dance na para ako nasa heaven. Okay? Pero, every time I judge folk dances, tapos may modification kang ginawa, rheumaticus ako. A very good example of that is when I was invited to judge the Pasinaya. May igwa talaga nagbailin ng tinikling. Tig labo-labo. Si Aki, si high school student. Okay? Saan 'yun? Sa Ligao. I was invited to judge a certain folk dance competition in Ligao. Si Aki nagsangkay duman sa umakyat doon sa sa bamboo pole. Tapos tig para apon-apon. Inapon-apon. Sabi ko, okay, amazing. Inapon-apon siya. Labot ko man pati dyan. Okay? Tapos after that, nagtinikling sila, naka-blindfold. Sabi, pinabayaan ko lang. Pero pag grade ko sa kanila is 0. Because hindi na maintain yung kultura ng sayaw, yung history ng sayaw. Ba't ka kasi magba-blindfold? Technically, ang tinikling came from the word tikling, which is a bird. And the movement of the birds was imitated by those people from Leyte. Ginaya nila yung movement ng bird. Tapos, saka na nagkaroon ng folk dance sa tinikling. Bakit ka naman magagamit ng blindfold? Bulag ba ang mga taga-Leyte? Buta? Naiman baga? O diba, do you get it? We should not really modify folk dances because it has a certain history. It has a certain meaning. Okay po? So, we have to conserve it in a way that let it be how it was written. Okay? Kung ano nakasulat, yun lang yun. Masakit ang loob nila sa akin kasi ako lang nagbigay ng 0. Kasi folk dances should be preserved, not should be modified. At bakit pa tinikling may mga lumilipad na bata? Ay, Diyos ko kaduday, patawarin kita. So, another pa is kapag pag uswag Atenista bagat ay pag sports fest ay intrams baga dito sa Ateneo. Ay uto na si JP yan nakabarline pulled. Ay uto naman si Ax ay gabos na nagmodify. 0 yan permis ako. Okay po? So, I am really into preservation of the dances. Kung ano yan, yun yan. Wag mo nang dagdagan pa. Okay? So, okay. Another is how the folk dance evolved naturally and spontaneously. It is evolving through how the certain generation passed the dances into the next generation. So, folk dances are being passed from one generation to another generation, to another generation, to another generation, up to the next generation. Okay, so, my dear students, what I want to emphasize here is, sa kakapasa-pasa ng mga ninuno natin, ng mga sayaw nila, nag-iiba-iba yan based on the capacity of our body. Okay po? Based on the capacity of our body. Maliwanag? So, since my dear students, halimbawa, generation ko, ay generation ni Kuya, pinasa sa akin yung sayaw. Iba man ang paggalaw ko, iba man ang kakaya ng katawan ko para i-perform yung sayaw na yon. So may change na. Ipapasa ko na naman siya sa next generation, magkaka-change ulit. Okay? That's how folk dances evolved. Okay? So, yan. So, we have here the 3 values of dancing. Diba? So, the first one is the values of dancing. It talks about, my dear students, what are the benefits that we can do or what are the purposes of folk dancing or dancing itself, dancing na tayo in general. The first one is physiological and neuromuscular development of the organic systems of the body. Okay? The physiological and neuromuscular development of the organic systems of the body. We cannot deny that dancing is an exercise. It has a lot of benefits into our body. Aside from it's an art, it is an exercise. It's a physical activity. That's why science is always integrated or biology will always be integrated into dancing. Okay po? Because only living organism can dance. Right? Pero itong naputol na buntot kang butiki, bako naman itong dance. Okay, so yan. We cannot deny that we only have 3 values of dancing. The first one is physiological and neuromuscular development of the organic systems of the body, di ba? Halimbawa, um, 'di ba minsan maaga kayo naglalabas ng bahay, tapos mahiling mo na naman si mga thunders. Do you know thunders, si mga gurang na paduruman na sa plaza si Dai, o 'di ba naka pang very belly ano pa to, yung nilagay nila sa may ano para parang arug-arug ganun may mga tanog, ay Diyos ko kaduday. Tapos naka-make up pa si mga gurang baga di pag uy baka may nadadangog na gurang sa to diyan ha sa Arong Nindo. May mga matatanda pupunta dun sa plaza, sasayaw-sayaw sila, di ba? Tapos, mazumba, correct. Magzuzumba sila, my dear students. Okay? So, sasayaw-sayaw sila, tapos naka-make up pa yan, di ba? Pag uli, si makeup berilog na ta, ginaranot. Ay, Diyos ko, kita patawari kita. Okay? So, yan. So another is cultural. This is the value of dance that I really want to preserve. It's culture. Again, dances, the emotions that we are using in dances are products of our experiences. Okay? So yan. So and culture, our way of life. Because is shared, culture is learned, culture is symbolic, culture is dynamic, and the other characteristic of culture can be seen in dancing. Okay? So yan. O halimbawa, o ano man daata ang mga ano po duman, ano man daata um ano tawag niyo dito? Ano man yun mga tao na infertile, those mga taong hindi nagkakaanak, yung mga babaeng hindi nabubuntis. Those infertile people, pumupunta kay Santa Clara Pino, sumasayaw doon sa streets pag Santa Clara Pino festivity, pag piyesta. Okay? Para daw mabuntis sila. Right? Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin na kapag sumayaw ka dun, kasi yan ang cultural eh. Bakit daw yung mga hindi nagkakaanak, yung mga infertile, pumupunta dun kay Santa Clara Pino para sumayaw ng religious or ceremonial dance. Okay, syempre walang ibang makakasagot niyan kasi yan ang kultura natin, yan yung tradisyon natin. Okay? Pero kung puro ka kultura, gusto mo mabuntis, tapos kahit daw parabayli ka duman kay Santa Clara Pino, mag-split ka pang apat na split, magtatambling ka pa duman. Okay? If there is no sexual intercourse, imposible man yan. Ang tubuan ka dyan yung nabadus ka mayong ama. Di mo yan pwede, day. Okay? Tadaw, magparaspit ka pa kay Santa Clara Pino, magdogi ka pa duman, magnay ka pa, talabo-labo, mag-tiktok ka pa duman. Kung makaman sexual intercourse, there will be nothing. That's why science and superstitious beliefs should Holy Spirit. Yeah, because we are Roman Catholic. Pero yung ika talaga Andrew Joseph ha, dinamay mo pa si God. Iba to, babayaan mo naman. Okay, Holy Spirit. Iba yung kay Mary. Iba yung sa conception. Okay, so yan. Ibang context yun. So yan. So that is cultural. Maybe pag sumasayaw sila doon because part na ng culture natin, ng kultura natin. Halimbawa dito sa Naga. Oh, why is it that every September yung image na pinaparade or may translation or fluvial procession? Because that is part of our culture. As easy as that. Okay po? So another is the social and recreational, di ba? We dance for socialization. Okay, sumasayaw tayo to socialize with the other people. Okay? And halimbawa, 'di ba, kapag nasa bar ka, tapos sumasayaw-sayaw ka, oh, it's may gwapo. Hi, matagal ka na ba dito? It's a form of socialization. Okay? Another is recreational. You do dancing for recreation. When we say recreational activities, those are activities that will make you happy. Those are the activities or recreational activities are the activities which are enjoying, refreshing, and entertaining. O kaya kayo, while we are doing online classes, hindi pwede yung puro lang kayo online class, kain, tulog. Tapos masabi ko, uy, nagtaba na ako. Kasalan mo yan, dear. Tadi ka nag-exercise. Okay, kasalan mo yan. Sir, stress na po ako. It's your fault because you don't do the things that will make you happy. The challenges of this online class is it limits us. Yung mga ginagawa natin noon, hindi natin magawa ngayon. That's why you have to create plan Bs. And then, di ba, can you relate that in the point of view of being a physical education teacher, yung nag-online class ka lang naman, nagdahog ka kay ma'am, tapos after ka iyan, magibo ka lang dikit na online something, tapos pagal-pagal ka, nagkaroon ang pagod mo for 2 weeks. And that is what we call static tiredness. Ano ang gamot dyan? Ang gamot dyan is do the physical activities. Yung mapapagod ka physically, yan ang gamot dyan. That's why do not forget to recreate. Okay? Yung simpleng hindi pagkain, hindi pagtulog, those are manifestations that you don't love yourself. Tapos gusto mong mahalin ka ng mahal mo, tapos yung sarili mo hindi mo mapatulog. Diyos ko kaduday. Okay? You cannot give what you don't have. Do not beg for the syempre you do not expect for the love of others if you don't love yourself. Okay, if sleeping, kung hindi mo kayang magbigay ng pagtulog sa sarili mo, okay? Tapos nag-aasa ka na ano, na mahalin ka nung ano, ay Diyos ko, hindi mo nga mahal yung sarili mo, tapos yan. Pero hindi pagmamahal ang topic natin dito, dancing. Okay, now let's proceed to the next one. So those are the values of dancing. So in the beginning of folk dances in the Philippines, this girl named Lola Kikay, she is the mother of Philippine folk dance. Her name is Francisca Reyes Aquino. In some books, maybe you will see Francisca Reyes Tolentino. That is also correct because Lola Kikay or Francisca Reyes Aquino was married twice. Duwang beses siya mag-ano. Idol ko ni. Pero syempre, di man ako mapakasal. Okay? Di man ako pakasal duwa. Apat. Charot lang. Okay, so Francisca Reyes Aquino started the gymnastics programs and and folk dances here in the Philippines. Okay, she was assisted by her first husband named Ramon P. Tolentino. Okay, okay, and then yung second husband niya si Serafin Aquino, and then Antonio Benaventura for composing the music and recording of the dances. Okay, may mga alam ba kayong mga folk songs dito sa Pilipinas? Ay, may mga alam kayo, my dear students, na folk songs sa Philippines. Can you please type the folk songs that you know here in the Philippines? Okay. Kaya today, my dear students, what are the folk songs? O baka ang iba dyan sa Indo, tom-tom ang mga kanta kang XB. Alam ang walang tayo, baby cake, snow game, come with me, nandyan agad ako. Sing-sing, pagmamahal, ginalingan, pakinabang, mahirap na, sama-sama, South Boys, Bounty, so in love. Ikaw kasi hayaan mo sila. Ano? Wala kayong alam? Aha. Baka alam yung mga XB din. Maki-XB din kasi ako tapos Blackpink. Kaya memorize ko gabos na ano. Kanta ka yan. Okay. Dandan Soy. Oh, very good. Sarong Banggi. Ili-ili tulog anay. Anong anay? Okay. Sit sirit sit alibang bang. Okay, very good. Mayuma ako may lobo. Okay, so at least you are oriented about the parang bukid, awit sa bukid. Oh, awit. Okay, so let's proceed. Wala, madali na pala. So, when we talk about folk dances, we have different types. Yan lang naman ang folk dance. Okay? So, wag na natin ito i-discuss kasi hindi naman ito masyadong importante because we only have limited time, my dear students. So, let me just discuss to you the next topic. Okay? Ano kasi ito? Good for, ano ito? From prelims to midterms. Okay? So, yan. The next one, my dear students, is about the fundamental arms and feet positions. Okay, so may makikita kayo, the pictures that I'm using here are the products of my student. Okay, mga estudyante ko to. Okay po, so yan. So fundamental arms and feet position is very important because this will serve as the basic or the fundamental of all dances. Okay, so yan. Di ba, may maganda na kayo nakita. Di ba ang ganda ng PowerPoint ko? Di ba? So, kasi bakla, kaya may mga glitters. Okay, so the fundamental positions will really serve as the, anong tawag dito? As the, how should I explain this? Foundation of all, kasi fundamental of all dances. So these positions are very important. The first one is the arm of the first position, o di ba? Ang ganda-ganda ko dyan. Parang Barbie, 10 piso. So this is the first position. Can you do that although your cameras are off? Ang daijan magibo ka ini yung ginigibo ko digdi ha. Day magkakajowa as in the 81 years old na. O bahala ka kayan. Kung mag-aki ka pa kayan. Okay, so okay na. So raise arms to a circle in front of the chest. This is the first position. The second position is open arms sideward, raised below shoulder level with a graceful curve. Ang curve dyan is graceful. Look at my curve. Wala dyan curve na arog ka ni ha. Ano kayo, alimango? Okay? So yan. The third position is this. Raise one arm overhead while the other arm remains in second position. So yan. And then the fourth position is this. Raise one arm in front of the chest in a half circle while one arm remains overhead. So after this, I will now conclude the folk dances. I will show you a particular sample video of folk dance that I performed. Okay? And then the fifth position is this. Raise both arms overhead in a graceful curve. Okay, that is the fifth position. So, it is executed like this. Wala kasi tayo sa physical, nag-workshop ako niyan. First position, second, third, fourth, and then fifth. Okay? So, sa paa naman, alam mo, itaas ko ng bitis ko digdi. Masupugon man. Okay, so, the next one is the, anong tawag niyo dyan? Fundamental position of the feet. This is the first position. Second position, the first position, bring heels close to touch, toes apart. So that is 45 degrees. And then second position, bring feet apart sideward. And then third position, and then fourth, and then fifth. Yan. So combination, first position, second position, third position, fourth position. Yan lang naman. So now let's proceed to creating a dance. But before we proceed to that, let me just wrap up everything about folk dances. Okay, because pupunta na tayo sa mas importanteng part ng ating, anong tawag yun dito? Discussion. Important din yung mga nauna, syempre. So this is the question, based on what I have mentioned and discussed about folk dances and then choreography, do we choreograph folk dance? Yes or no? Do we choreograph folk dance? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do we choreograph folk dance? Pag mali ang sagot niyo, okay lang yan. There's nothing wrong with wrong answers. Mhm. Yes daw. Sure ka mo dyan? Yes ba? Sino nagsabi sa inyong yes? Ang iba dyan hindi sumasagot ha. Baka mamaya hindi nyo magalaw yung kamay nyo. Menard, no. Ano, maybe ka dyan? Duwa-duwa talaga. Dapat isa lang anak. Okay? So, yan. Mhm. Okay. So, uncertain. How about the others? Okay, let's see. So, my dear students, based on the discussion that we had, you can conclude that we do not choreograph folk dance because folk dances has a certain history. The movement of a certain folk dance came from the folk dance literature. It is only evolving. Oh, correct. It is only evolving, but the folk dances are written on the book. Folk dances are being researched. Okay, halimbawa, yung tinikling na yan, daw magduman ka sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, sa inman digdi sa Pilipinas, saan man di daw magduman ka pa sa India, sa Jakarta, Indonesia, daw sa Indian, tinikling will remain tinikling. Tinikling, the dance steps in tinikling will still remain. So you will not be able to exert your own idea or your own creative imagination when it comes to movements. But we only choreograph formations. Okay? Formation na kino-choreograph natin sa folk dance. But the dance itself, the dance steps, we do not choreograph that. Okay, the first season is, syempre, nakasulat na kasi sa folk dance literature kung anong step niya. And every step or every hand or feet movement in folk dancing has a certain meaning. May meaning siya. Okay po, may ibig sabihin siya. Okay? On the other hand, my dear students, the another reason is bawal natin i-change ang movement sa folk dance because baka mabastos ang kultura kung saan originated yung folk dance. O, at yan kaiyan, nagbabayli ka ng tinikling, tiglagan mo ng nay-nay na step, ay Diyos ko kaduday, patawarin kita. Okay? O, halimbawa, managbayli ka man ng karinyosa sa katahawan na part, from that top, make it nasuwi. So, nag-wap challenge ka dyan, nasuwi-suwi, nagkasuruwi ka na dyan. Right? So, we do not choreograph folk dance. We only choreograph formation for certain folk dances. Okay? So, or kaya man ang, halimbawa, mga tugtog kang BTS, Dynamite, di ba? Boy with Love, the Go-Go, the Bangtan Bomb, the Official, the DNA, the Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the On the Fake Love, di ba? So, those different folk dances, ano yun, tugtog na argot, tigdagan mo ng step ng folk dance. No, dapat hindi sila lagi intertwine. Folk dances will remain as traditional as it is. It should be. Okay? So, yan. So, wag na ako magpakita sa inyo ng video na sumasayo ako, nasupog na ako. Now, let's proceed to the second topic. So, this is all about creating a dance, choreography, and other dance forms. And I also mentioned to you the history of choreography. So, it came from the French word choreography, coined from the Latin. So, I'll teach my dear students 3 techniques in creating a dance. Ang paggawa ng sayaw ay hindi mahirap. Okay? Hindi mahirap ang paggawa ng folk dance. Sorry, ng sayaw. We are already done with folk dancing ha. Hindi mahirap ang paggawa ng ng sayaw, my dear students. Okay, I'll teach you 3 techniques on how can you easily create dances or dance performance. The first one is all about movement exploration. When we say movement exploration in the context of dancing, it talks about discovering the body's potential for movement by experimenting with different ways of moving. Movement exploration talks about experimenting. Okay, or discovering the potential of your body to create a certain action or to create a certain movement. Ang movement exploration, ano lang yan? O kaya nandyan ka, o gumalaw ka kung ano-anong gibon ba, taratambling ka dyan, magtaas ka ng kamay, mag-ikot-ikot ka, maglitong-litong ka, okay? Kahit anong gawin mo, as long as you are exploring the capacity of your body to do a certain possession or to do a certain movement, that is movement exploration. Okay? Galaw, gumalaw ka lang ng gumalaw. Okay? Just explore the capacity of your body when it comes on moving or movement. That's it. Okay. So that is movement exploration. Gumalaw-galaw ka lang dyan, walang tugtog. O tapos, that is already dancing. Ang tawag yun dito, you are, what they call this? Um, you are able to discover the potential of your body to create a certain action. Okay? Or to create a certain performance. Yan, galaw-galaw ka lang kahit ano. Just use your emotion. Just discover how your body can move. What are the other things that that your body is possible of doing pa? Okay? So yan. I'll show you a particular example of I'm not really sure. Okay, so when we talk about kasi movement exploration, my dear students, just discover the potential of your body. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next one. Okay, so the next one is all about making a dance using a stimulus. When we say stimulus, my dear students, it is anything in our environment that makes us move. Kahit ano sa ano natin sa paligid natin na nagpapagalaw sa atin. Okay? Nagpapagalaw sa atin. Kahit ano siyang bagay na nakaka-trigger ng ating behavior, kahit ano siyang bagay na makaka-apekto sa ating consciousness or magpapagalaw sa atin. So anything in our environment which triggers our behavior. It can be the air, the water, the laptop, the face mask, the chair, the mouse, and etc. Okay? So yeah, anything in our environment that makes us move. And then something that causes a reaction, especially interest, excitement, or energy. My dear students, in dancing, when we say stimulus, aside from, it talks about the props. Okay? The props that we are using. Okay? But I do not want my students to abo ko sa gabus. Ayaw na ayaw ko sa mga estudyante ko, narinig sila na nagsasabi ng props. Kasi sa tamad ginagawain. Okay? So, just take note of these techniques or these proper terms in dancing. We do not say props because we have to mention it's the whole term because props, the word props is just a short term for properties. Habo, ayoko makikinig kayo na, uy, anong props ang gagamitin natin? It should be, uy, anong properties ang gagamitin natin? Okay? Avoid using props, it should be properties. The second one, magbibilang kayo, kunya nagtuturo ka ng sayaw. Ikaw yung nag-choreograph. Masabi ka, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kung ako ang teacher mo, lumipad na sa'yo yung sapatos. Okay? Counting do not start with 5. Counting starts with 1. That's why it should be 1, 2, 3, go. Okay? Or kaya, pag nagtuturo ka ng formation, magsasabi kayo na, or window kayo dyan, window. Ako ang teacher mo, nasa bunutan na kita. Okay? So, mali yung window. Ang tawag natin dun is alternation. Kasi kung window, dapat may bintana dyan. Okay? Doon ang bintana, window, garo. Another pa is, ano pa? Yan. Okay? So yan. Those are another pa is the succession. Yung munang ikaw na muna, sunod siya. That is not succession. The term that we should use to describe that particular technique in dancing is sequential. Or that particular choreography is sequential. Sequential ang tawag doon, hindi succession. Okay? So making a dance with the use of stimulus, mag-explore ka lang. You have to use a certain properties or material and then explore how can you use that. The stimulus or the properties in dancing, sometimes we call that as building blocks, okay? Or stimulus. Okay, so yan. Halimbawa, you are performing a certain dance with the use of panyo. Okay, the panyo is your stimuli. Dalawang panyo, tigisa ang kamay mo. Those are your stimuli. And then you just explore. You have to think of the other movements that you can do using that particular material. Kapag nag-iisip ka ng movement that you are going to use that particular material or yung bagay na yon, you have to do two things. The first one is you have first to know the purpose of that. Halimbawa, you are performing using the chair. Syempre, una mo movement, upo ka na muna and then pwede mag-headbang ka, mag-kerekembot ka, mag-work ka dyan, bahala ka. Or kaya, the second thing that you are going to do is, you have to think out of the box. Aside from sitting, what are the other purpose that we can do to a certain chair to create movements or to create a dance? Pwedeng asahan mo siya, mag-kerekembot ka, upon mo. Okay, pwedeng tumayo ka. Okay? Just use your creative imagination. So that is creating a dance with the use of stimulus. Okay? So yeah. So for example, we have here a rhythmic gymnastic. Okay, you have the ball, the rope, the hoop, the clubs, and the ribbon. Ang rhythmic activities, my dear students, ay rhythmic gymnastics, sorry. Kanina pa kasi ang rhythmic activities eh. Rhythmic gymnastics, yung gymnast, yung movement niya nakadepende sa hawak niyang material. Okay? Kaya she is dancing, doing some stance and routines depending on the apparatus or equipment that he or she is holding. Pambabae lang kasi to. But it's not only limited there. O, di ba? Itong si ate, sumasayaw gamit ang chair. Ito naman si ate, si kuya sumasayaw, nakatayo sa lamesa, sumasayaw may gamit na tela. Ito naman may mga panyo. Ito naman gumagamit sa the body itself. Our body can be a stimulus. Okay? Or even these people, they are using what? The floor as their stimulus. So stimulus is absolute. It's anything around us. Okay? So the last one is with the use of music. We can choreograph dances with the use of music. Okay po? Gagamit lang tayo ng tugtog, my dear students. Yung kung ano nararamdaman, a very good example of that is, ano pa na to explain? Ako, in my na lang. So, in this technique, express your reaction or interpretation of the music. Your movements will depend on your response to your chosen music. Sa akin, ito pala yung ginagamit ko. First, I always create a dance depending on the music. The first thing is, I will first listen to the music. And then after that, syempre may feel ako kayo. Hindi naman kasi ako manhid. O, diba? Baka kayo, charot. Okay, so, una, my dear students, magaan lang po ako. Papakinggan ko yung tugtog and syempre may feel ako niyan. And then after that, I will play the music again and I will dance, I will perform, and I will express my emotion based on what I feel or what I have felt after listening to the music. And that emotion that I'm going to express through body movements should be a communicative movement so that my audience can really understand what is in my heart. Again, I listen to the music and then I express my emotion and I translated those emotion into movements. And then those translated emotion into movements should be felt by the audience. Gets nyo? Kung ano naramdaman ko doon sa tugtog, sinayaw ko siya, and then mararamdaman din ng audience. I will communicate to them through body movements yung nararamdaman ko. Gusto niyo yun? Di ba? So yan. Another pa is, for example, I am fond of choreographing, creative dances. Halimbawa, magtuturo ako ng dinagyang festival or pahiyas festival ng mga dance movements or sinulog. I'll make sure first na nakapunta ako doon. Pero hindi pa ako nakakatandang sinulog, pahiyas pa lang. Yung sa street dance nila, kung ano na feel ko doon na vibe, okay? Kung ano na feel ko doon, my dear students, na vibe sa pag-attend ko noon, dinala ko siya sa stage. So that yung mga audience ko, may feel na parang nandun lang din sila sa Pahiyas Festival. So parang ganyan. Okay, so, yan. So other dance forms, we have the ballet, the interpretive dance, the cheer dance. Ballet, di ba? Interpretive dance, cheer dance. When we say ballet, it's so strict. It is the backbone of all dance genres or other dance forms. And their interpretive dance, I don't want my students to mention interpretative dance. Because my dear students, listen, take a look on the word. Okay, the word is interpretative or interpretive. The root word is interpret. Okay? And then, wala man tayong suffix na ative. That's why, meron lang tayong suffix na IVE. Ative pala, wala tayong suffix na ative. Yeah. So, meron lang tayong IVE. So, it should be interpretive, not interpretative. Okay po? I hope that you understand my point. Interpret, okay, plus IVE ba kung interpret? Because if you're going to take a look, wala man talagang suffix bagang ative, right? So it's a form of modern dance in which the dancer's movement depict an emotion or tell a story. Sa interpretive dance, you just have to tell the audience about the song, about what you have felt. Okay, nasa other dance forms na tayo. Una yung ballet, syempre it's ballet muna pala. Ballet originated from Renaissance period, okay, in Italy. It is the oldest dance form because it's so strict. Nagkaroon lang naman tayo ng modern dance, interpretive dance, contemporary dance because of ballet. Napaka-strict nila. Ang sabi ng mga dancers noon, oh my God, we are not anymore able to express our emotions, our feelings because ballet is so strict. It has a certain rule. Sila gusto nilang sumayaw sila na nakikicommunicate sila sa audience. They are able to express what they are feeling because that is the real essence of dance. You have to express what you feel. Tama? So, since ganoon, my dear students, um, anong tawag niyo dito? Since ganoon, ang interpretation or ang meaning talaga ng dance, nag-revolutionize sila. Okay? From ballet. So, yan. Interpretive dance, dalawa lang yan. Yeah. You just dalawa lang dapat yung tandaan sa interpretive dance. You have to communicate with your audience and express your emotion. Yung dalawa lang. Okay? Communicate to the audience and then express your emotion. Okay, we have different types of interpretive dance, but dalawa lang tinuturo ko. Yung mimicry, hindi na. Hindi ko hindi na ako na ganun yun. The first one is the um, interpretive dance mismo na lyrical. Kaya nga siya tinawag na lyrical because you are going to interpret what is on the lyrics. Ano ang pinaka very good example niyan? Ako ay may lobo, lumipad sa langit, di ko na nakita. Pumutok na pala because, okay, that is lyrical because you are interpreting what is on the lyrics of the song. Well, on the other hand, you have the urban interpretation. It is very modern. It is very contemporary. Medyo may pagka-hip-hop siya. Okay? So, we have the cheer dance. Sa cheer dance naman, pinaghalong gymnastics and dance. Di ba? Pero what I want you, my dear students, to remember in cheer dance is, iba po ang cheer dance, ibang cheer and dance, iba ang pep squad, iba ang cheerleading event. Iba-iba yan. Okay? Hindi ko na yun mahabang topic yan. Okay? But what we are doing in UAAP is cheer and dance. In Ateneo, we have the cheer dance. Okay? So, yan. Next. Later, I will ask you some question ha, if you have question. Another is contemporary dance. Contemporary dance, galing siya sa ballet. Since revolutionary siya, there is no rule of the thumb. Bahala ka, just express what you feel. Okay? So, but ranging from ballet, ang ballet dito hindi yung classical ballet ha, modern ballet. That's what makes it contemporary. Jazz, modern dance, modern break dancing, and even yoga and pilates. Those are contemporary dances. Modern dance naman encourages dancers to use their emotions and moods to design their own steps and routines. That's why baga sa XB Jensen, ang sabi nila, kaliwa, kanan, kaliwa, sa ang facial expression nila, ang hindi sila cute. Okay? So another is hip-hop. It is the newest dance genres in the 20th century that immensely attracts the new generation, particularly the youth. Hip-hop is, what do you call this, is a dance influenced by those people na from Africa. My dear students, be mindful of those music that you are using in hip-hop ha. Ayaw ko nang nagpe-perform ng hip-hop na nagsasabi ng N-word. No one has the right to mention the N-word because of its nature. In the Philippines, the context of that, kung tayo yon, because sorry for the term that I'm going to use, Indio. The Spaniards before labeled us as Indio, but tayo ata ngayon hindi naman siya naapektuhan pag Indio. Tinatawag tayong Indio, di ba? So yan. Noon, yung mga ano natin, the people before, kapag tinawag sila during the Spanish colonization, pag tinawag silang Indio, that is very derogatory. Okay po? So yan, that's why sa hip-hop, ako sa hip-hop ko, sa students ko, binibigyan ko sila ng music that they can use. Ayoko nung sila na lang ang pagpipili ng tugtog. That's a big no-no. Alam niyo kung bakit? Puro Cardi B ang pipiliun ka yan. Okay, say little, you can, if you want it to, this expensive, this is red. Or kaya, mawarawap challenge ang pustahan kita. From the top, make it, ay Diyos ko, kaduday. Okay, puro yan Cardi B. Puro si Cardi B, pati mayo nang sinabing marahay na word. For women, empowerment da. Ay, Diyos ko, kapatawari kita. Okay? So, I don't care if there is a fanatic here, ha? Okay, although I belong to the third sex or the LGBT community, I do not tolerate wrongdoings. Okay? That's why if may DDS dito sa klase ni Ma'am Valen, hindi tayo magkakasundo. Siyempre, you have no choice now. Okay? So, yan. Sorry. Okay, so another is festival dance. One of the things that I really missed nowadays, my dear student, is wala pong ano ngayon, anong tawag niyo doon? Boyadores Festival. Napaka-sad. Okay po, festival dances can be secular or religious. Okay? So, yan. So, we only have 10 minutes. So, that another is dance production pa pala. Madalian na lang to. So, dance production, since we are already done with the creating a dance on how to create a certain dance performance, the challenge now is how are we going to produce it? How are we going to present that? Okay po? Mayroon na tayong performance. Kaso kailan natin siya ipe-perform? At saan na siya ipe-perform? And anong event na siya ipe-perform? Dance production will answer that question. Dance and choreography will just give you an idea how to create a certain dance. Nakagawa na kayo ng sayaw, ngayon itatanghal niyo na siya. And that is the scope of dance production. It's a process of mounting a dance performance or a show, which brings together technical aspects, production design, and staffing. Choreography is not anymore needed in dance production. Ang kailangan lang technical aspects. Production design. When we say production design, it's the aesthetic, the properties that you are going to use, the stage, and etc. And then the last is the staffing. Sino ang magiging director, and then assistant director, choreographer, and etc. So elements of dance production, the dancer or performers, they're dancing in space, time, production, design. So yeah, the dancing in space, daan ko na lang to because we only have few minutes. Okay, we have different types of stage. The first one is proscenium or picture frame stage. Yan yung nasa gym natin. Okay? Apron. The apron is yung nasa stage sa USI, auditorium, and yung nasa junior high school na at sa Ateneo de Pacol. Ay, yeah, Ateneo de Naga sa Pacol. Ateneo de Pacol, sorry. That is the apron. Another is the end stage. End stage is the stage in Xavier Hall and in the University for Pillars, and then sa CC. Last stage, yung nakausli and ang audience nasa dalawang gilid na nasa unahan, yan yung nasa Richie Fernando Hall. Okay? Arena type or theater in the round. That is the stage in the, anong tawag nyo dito? JMR Coliseum. Traverse stage, sa fashion shows ito ginagamit. And that concludes our my PowerPoint presentation. And then we only have 8 minutes, okay? So that I can entertain some questions. So what questions do you have? Hey, what questions do you have? Can you please type your questions about dance? Kung may tanong pa kayo sa pagsayaw. Hi. Uy, ambag naman, oh.
I think wala na, Sir JM. Wala na silang tanong.
Okay, so wala talagang tanong. Okay,
Wala na yan. Wala na
okay.
yan.
Okay, so just some last words because I will give the remaining 5 minutes kay Ma'am Valen, okay, for the processing because hanggang 4:30 lang tayo. So some last words. Do not be afraid to dance. Okay? As I have mentioned, ang pagsayaw ay walang pinagkaiba sa paggalaw. And one of the nature of being a living organism is to move. Kung yun ngang punong ang tawag nito, dinoduros or hinahangin, gumagalaw. Okay? Kayo pa kaya? So see, so dancing will always be part of our life. Do not be, sir, tuog ako, no. Walang taong tuog. Because dancing is just a manifestation that you are human. First is you are moving. The second one is you are able to express your emotion. Tao tayo, may nararamdaman tayo. Okay? May nasasaktan din tayo, nababad trip tayo, na naging happy tayo. Okay? We are affected by other things and we can we can ease the pains that we are experiencing through expressing that into dancing. Okay? That's why if you saw someone doing TikTok, do not judge them. Okay? That's why if you are bored, if you are masakit na, listen to music and then dance. Express what you feel. Just dance as if no one is watching. Dance as if you are free. You have the freedom to do anything. Okay? And then, lastly, dance because you are human. And that is under humanities. And the nature of a certain person is to be, the main goal of a certain person is to be oriented about art. Okay? So maybe some of you, you are good in other things, but please try dancing. Okay? It will comfort you. As I have mentioned, ang sining at ang pagsayaw ay pagsagip sa sarili. We have to save ourselves. That's why engage into dancing. Again, we will be saved because of two reasons. It's an exercise, and the second one is it will give us an avenue to express what we feel. And that's all. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Sir JM, for that wonderful insights and discussion about art appreciation, specifically in dancing. What I got from your discussion ay gumalaw tayo. Gumalaw hindi para sa sarili, pero gumalaw para sa pagmamahal sa sarili at gumalaw para sa pagmamahal din sa bayan. So that's what I got from you. Thank you so much, Sir JM. So I'll just give you na lang the certificate some other time, my friend.
Okay, it's okay.
Some other time, my friend. So I'll just give you the certificate. Hopefully, class, may naintindihan kayo sa discussion ni Sir JM. And actually, Sir JM will be also giving us your asynchronous activity. Okay? May gagawin kayo. Kasi nga, hindi natatapos to sa pagkaalam lang, sa kaalaman lang, sa kung paano at i-appreciate ang dancing. At the end of the day, kailangan ninyo gumalaw mismo. Kaya may ibibigay si Sir JM na activity sa inyo, and Sir JM will be the one to check the activity din. Okay? Sir JM will be the one to check the activity na din kasi I guess alam mo naman, sir, I don't have the credibility to check those things. Especially, it's not my field of specialization. Diba? So, Sir JM will be the one to check that, and Sir JM will be the one to give the activity. I'll just post it na lang saan? Sa ating Google Classroom. Okay? If wala lang tanong, thank you so much, Sir JM. It has been good 1 hour and 30 minutes presentation. So, hindi walang dull moments, pero gumalaw tayong lahat. Hindi lang para sa sarili, hindi lang para sa pagmamahal sa sarili, kundi para sa bayan na ating ginagalawan din. Maraming salamat po at magandang hapon. Thank
Okay,
you, Sir
thank you so
JM.
much, my dear students. I hope that you learned something from me, ha? Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, Sir JM. Thank you so much. Okay. So, class, may tanong pa ba? Class? Class? May tanong pa ba kayo?
Ma'am, about po dun sa
Saan po?